Alright, so I've just been going around here in the caves underneath my base, lighting stuff up, and I came across this. I didn't put these there, and I thought this would be interesting enough that I might want to record me opening this box, which appears to be full of zombies. Oh, it's a dungeon. Not a Minecraft dungeon, mind you, but a dungeon. I mean, honestly, you guys want to keep spawning, I'll keep shooting you. It's like 3 chests in here, too. That's pretty nice. Try to get down here and put a... I love the crossbow, in case you couldn't tell. There we go, that ought to shut it off. Huh. So yeah, not a Minecraft dungeon, which I've never actually found. That's oil. Yeah, I still to this day have not ever actually found a Minecraft dungeon. Like an actual one of these Minecraft dungeons. Never found one. Yep, Lexica Botanica. So yeah, this is, ooh, that's nice. Oh yeah. Sunglasses. Cool guys, don't look at explosions. Ooh, Man of Steel. Man, there's some good stuff in this. And what do we got in here? Oh. Overgrowth seed. Those are very nice. Really hard to find, too. So, yeah, that was kind of cool. Worth coming down here. I think this is a quark dungeon. But these usually generate as, like, big structures. And this one seems to have just generated by itself. I'm going to go back to lighting these caves up, so see you guys in a bit. And not 2 seconds later, what did I find? A dungeon. An actual Minecraft dungeon with a spider spawner. Anything worth keeping. Music. Cat. Neat. Another pair of sunglasses. Nuclear Craft music disc. These, I know this one I can play on YouTube. I don't know if I can play this one or not, because this looks like it's like actually copyrighted music. I don't know. We'll give it a listen at a later point. It sounds like they are right on top of me, doesn't it? Wait, what? Those are really close together. That is definitely a dungeon, another dungeon. And from the sounds of it, it's a zombie dungeon. So I should put some torches around here too, huh? Oh, I've got my night vision on. Actually, I don't. But I've got my night vision helmet. That's why it's so much easier to see. I'm trying to find the edges. There we go. There's one edge. Alright, now they're coming down. Hello, boys. One at a time, please. There's enough for everybody. Please take a number. You will be seated in the order you arrived. Please take a number. Take a number. You did not take a number. Oh, it's just right here. Bloop. You can have 4. Ancient Tome, looting 3. Ender Pearl, I'll take that. Take that Mana Steel. Did I not take the Mana Steel out of the other chest? I didn't take the Mana Steel out of the other chest. There's another nuclear craft. That's the same disc. Will these stack? They will not stack. Alright, well I'm not going to take 2 of the same disc. I don't need 2 zombie heads. Golden apple. It's always nice. I'd never found any dungeons before, and then here I go and I find 2 right on top of each other. Because that other one's just right down here. Like... Ta-da! Hello, Internet! Welcome back to another episode of SnowCraft. Got a few things to show you today, mostly around the base, and just kind of want to, check in, let you know what it is that I've been up to here in the last few couple of days. So not a whole lot has changed in the house itself. I did put up a jukebox. You may have seen the quick little silly video that I posted, just Mr. Parrot over here dancing along to the pig step track. Now, obviously, you can't get pig step in 1.12. It is added through a mod. If you see here, it is part of future versions. And so because of that, it is actually craftable in this version. So let's go outside, and there's a couple other things that I want to show you. All right, so the first thing that I want to show you is as we step outside here, you can see that this storage is gone. It has all been relocated to the structure you can see just right off there in the distance. And that is, of course, the factory that I talked about building in the last episode. So all the storage here has been moved over there. I still have a few more things to move. I moved the steel production is all now over in the factory. I still need to get the rest of my seeds moved, but I haven't decided on a good place to put them. I'll talk about that a little bit more when we get over to the factory. And of course, I need to move my silkworms, though I did upgrade them to an actual drawer rather than the chest that they were using. I've also fixed my trash because I accidentally threw away something. I accidentally threw away something I wanted to keep. So I have changed it over to this system. Now we put the items into the chest, and then when we're ready to empty it, we just turn that, and that'll let everything go down into the trash. Not a whole lot else has changed around here. I've made a few more seeds. These are actually the ones that I've filled up the chest of essence. Those filled chests are over in the factory. And then I've just put the seeds back over here to let them grow so I can kind of keep track of which ones I have and which ones I don't have. Because I don't need to be building doubles of anything. I fixed the windmill. So now that is aligned up the same as the other one, and I've moved the battery or the capacitor right to there so that we can attach it to this power line, which is now running over to the factory. The rest of the house has pretty much stayed the same. I did finally come up with a design to go in the window there, and I'm really happy with that. So everything else then is now over at the factory. So we're going to head over there, and I will show you what we've done there. All right, one thing I do want to mention, I've got this capacitor right here, and it is a high voltage capacitor. It's actually charging right now, which is pretty cool. This capacitor is set up right here so that power can go towards the factory and not away from the factory. Once I've moved the power down there to the factory, I will reverse the connection on that capacitor, allowing power to flow back to my house. So here's the factory. I'm okay with this design. This stuff here is a pain to work with. Because you actually have to craft it with fluid. It actually takes water in the crafting recipe. And as we know, water buckets don't stack. So you have to do one bucket at a time. It's very annoying. So over here is my storage system. As you can see, I've moved all the trees over here. They are all now on hoppers. Each one of these hoppers all then feed into this chest right here. And then you can just barely see it right there. There is an extracting conveyor that pulls the items out and into the drawer controller. Something new that I've set up. And then, of course, I have all of my storage set up over here. So these are all the items available to me. And everything goes in through that drawer controller. I've also set up a conveyor belt throughout the factory. So any items that get produced anywhere in this factory, the idea is that the machine will then attach to this conveyor belt and the items will get brought over here and deposited into my storage system. I've also run these electric lights, or these powered lanterns. I've got 3 down this side of the factory and I've got 3 on the other side of the factory as well. They actually stop mobs from spawning within 32 blocks of the lantern. Meaning that despite the fact that I haven't lit up everything here, and if we hit F7 real quick, you can see at night, there should be monsters spawning all over the place, right? Because there's barely anything is lit up. But thanks to that special quality of these lanterns, they act kind of like a mega torch where they actually prevent mobs from spawning. They only do that while they're powered, so if they ever lose power, they will allow mobs to spawn once again. So this back here is my my steel production. I've got it set up so I've got a drawer up here that's got coal in it, and that's feeding down into there, and then there's a conveyor belt that takes it over and drops it into the blast furnace. And as you can see, I've got a bunch of iron in here already. And as the slag is produced, it comes out the back and goes onto the conveyor belt. And as the steel is produced, it also goes onto the conveyor belt, and they all go down to the storage system. Then, of course, the creosote that the coke oven, and the coke oven's kind of loud too, isn't it? It actually goes outside, out here into this steel fluid tank. So I remember, if you remember, I mentioned that the chunk loader that I have that I plan to use chunk loads a 5x5 area. So this factory is actually built. This is the middle of the chunk. The center of the chunk border is actually right here along here. So this is just inside it, and this is just outside it. And that means that I have right about to here, if we hit F9. Okay, so I actually have all the way out to here that would also be chunk loaded, so I can put some machines on the outside of my factory all the way around. And I thought that was a cool idea, a little bit of a way to add some more details on the outside of the factory rather than having just absolutely everything stuffed inside it. And there's a few other machines that I'm going to end up building out here. Like I need to build a distillery tower, and that is it's quite tall. So we're going to put that outside here, probably over on the other side over there, which we'll talk about here in just a second. I don't have a door for it, but over there you can see there is a water pump that is pumping water up out of a little pond that I have there. So if we head over to this corner, this is where I've basically been starting to set things up again. I've got some garden cloches over here. I don't know if they're going to end up staying over here. They're just kind of here temporarily because this is where the water is coming in. But what I've set up over in this corner is the beginnings of a biodiesel production setup. So I have my fermenter here. I've got potatoes coming in through this garden cloche. It is feeding potatoes in. That is turning into plant oil, or ethanol. Sorry, it is turning it into ethanol. And then on this side, I have an industrial squeezer that is squeezing the hemp seeds down into plant oil. And then by taking these two into a refinery, you then get biodiesel. So that's kind of my plan for power moving forward, is that I'm going to set up a diesel generator, probably right in this space here, and use that to generate power. And that'll hook up to the power grid. So I've got low voltage here because these only run on low voltage. And then I've got medium voltage on this side that is all my machines are actually attached to. And now in this corner over here, I've begun setting up some more of the actual like heavy machinery that we're going to end up needing here in the factory. This is my crusher. I've got switch over here on this side. It's currently turned off, so nothing will run if anything ends up inside there. And if we climb up here onto the catwalk, we have access to the top of it where we can toss stuff in. I need another piece of scaffolding. So this is something that I've mentioned a few times. One of the mods that I have installed is called Nether Portal Spread. And it actually causes, when you open a nether portal, it causes the landscape around it to slowly become nether. So as you can see, I've got soul sand over here where there used to be sand. It's all down there at the bottom of the water as well. Interestingly, it is not creating a bubble column. So I don't know if that's because of the way the mod works or if bubble columns were added. Were bubble columns added after 112? I can't remember. Anyway, the point is that in order to shut off the nether spread, in order to prevent it, you actually need to put a certain number of a certain type of block around your portal. For this, it is set to blocks of quartz, and it's actually 8 blocks of quartz. So you see I've got these 2 on here, and then on the other side I have 2 more, making a total of 8, and that stops the portal from spreading its corrupting nether influence out into the world. This right here, it's functional, but it's boring. I want something that's a lot more interesting, and this kind of here gives you a hint. I have a plan for what I'm going to do. Namely, I'm going to take all these blocks and we're going to build a kind of a shrine to this nether portal. And that's what we're going to do today, and I think I'm going to experiment a little bit. We might end up doing this in a time lapse, depending on how long it takes me. Otherwise, it'll just be a third-person view. So the first thing I got to do here is clear out these trees, and we're actually going to shut that nether portal off because we're going to rebuild it a little bit. So that's what we're going to go ahead and jump in and do now. And there we have it. One nether portal shrine. So I like the way that this looks. I'm really happy with it. We've got like a mix of nether blocks in here, and then they're being contained and surrounded by this quartz and marble. I really like this. I think it's really going to look really good, especially once we start getting into astral sorcery and we start building some of the astral sorcery multi-blocks that they have. We still have the blocks of quartz in here. So once we light this back up, it should no longer give us the corrupting influence and spread that we have. And I'm just noticing that the future version, Crying Obsidian, does not have the particle effects. The kind of dripping purple particle effect that the vanilla has. So that's interesting. So I need to go get a flint and steel. Let's get this lit. Let's get this lit up. All right. So before we light up the portal, I do want to go up here and light this soul sand. Gonna make a new flint and steel. Couldn't find my old one, but we're gonna get some soul fire. And that should just keep burning. It shouldn't ever stop. And that looks really cool there on the mini map. All right, and then we can light this up. There we go. That looks really cool. I really like that, especially set in this forest like this. We've got some more trees growing around it. I put these redstone lamps in here so that this whole area should be spawn-proofed. We shouldn't have anything able to spawn on the blocks themselves. Obviously, we're still going to get zombie pigmen coming in through the portal. But other than that, we shouldn't get anything else spawning around it. And I think that looks really good. So if you agree with me, let me know. If you think there's anything I could do to make this look better, let me know. I have a couple of ideas for ways that we can probably improve the look of this, but I want to know what you guys think. Let me know. Let me know down in the comments, and we will take it from there. But let me just make sure that we're still going to the same portal. We should be. It's in more or less the same spot. Oh yeah, look at that. And we've got a cow. You're on the wrong side of the portal, bud. You want to go back through the portal? Want to go home? No, you're gonna... Alright. Watch out for no weather skeletons. Alright, I am very happy with how that turned out. Plans for going forward. I need to work on power generation. Primarily. That is number one, is I need to get my power generation sorted out. Because right now, my power generation sucks. Oh, you could probably also tell I upgraded my armor. I've added a couple more levels of reinforced, as well as a level of resistant to my body, my chest plate. I have the goggles on, so that's taking the modifier slot that I would normally be using for resistant on there. I also made myself a crossbow. Don't think I've talked about that. I really like the crossbows, at least the Tinker's Construct ones. I haven't really ever played with the vanilla crossbows too much, but maybe that'll change going forward. Speaking of going forward, things we need to do. We need to get these machines and the rest of this junk that you see here behind me all needs to get moved over to the factory. The same thing with the Tinker's Smeltery. That needs to get moved. The rest of the garden cloches all need to get moved over there, as well as my metal press needs to find a home in the factory somewhere. I also want to get electric lighting run through the house here. That's going to be a little tricky to do. Might not end up doing it. We might just put the electric lights on the outside of the house rather than having them on the inside as well. I still don't have anything in my basement. I have no idea what to put down there. I briefly considered putting my storage system down there, but I think it'll work better having it in the factory because that's where the most of the resource and material creation is all going to be taking place, is in the factory. So it'll make more sense for the storage to be there rather than it being here. And of course, further down the road, we're going to end up with Applied Energistics. We're going to have an ME system, and we're definitely going to be putting terminals all throughout this house because we can use cable facades to hide where the wires are run. Really about all that I have for you in this episode. I'm going to keep working on getting some power generation set up. I'm probably not going to record that because it's going to be pretty boring. A lot of just placing blocks and then me fighting with getting the fuel generation going onto it. The question is whether or not I'm going to continue with biodiesel or if I'm going to switch over and use just, diesel, petroleum diesel, because I do have immersive petroleum in this, so we can mine up some oil and refine that into diesel. That's all questions for another day, though. For today, that's all we're going to do. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and have yourselves a wonderful day. If you liked it, hit the like button. Comment, let me know what I can do to improve what my nether portal looks like. We're going to do stuff on the other side at a later date. It's going to be a little tricky because we're inside of a nether fortress, so it's going to be a little tricky to kind of put put something on the other side for that. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe so you don't miss any more videos, because I know you've missed videos because you're not subscribed. Almost nobody's subscribed, so you're missing videos. So subscribe so you see the videos. I'm going to stop rambling now. You guys have yourselves a wonderful day, and happy Minecrafting.